Newly released photos reveal Bill Clinton with one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims, as even leftists have begun to abandon him. In this video, we're going to take a look at the latest bombshell in the whole Epstein case, how it's utterly destroying any semblance of credibility that Bill Clinton has left, and how it's all fueling a massive populist revolt against what many consider to be an irredeemably depraved political class. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Patriots all across the globe. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you as always. If this is your first time with us and you're looking for some daily encouragement and optimism as well as analysis to help you make sense of these insane times, you have found your oasis in this channel. We post 2 videos a day analyzing current events and line some super awesome conservative trends so you can live in the present in light of even better things to come. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'll be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel where each and every day we together celebrate the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. Now, before we dive in here, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's our good friends over at Prepper's Peak and their new solar water heater. Now, with all of the lockdowns we just witnessed over the last several months, this solar water heater could very well turn out to be our very best friend. The heater is an amazing device that allows you to heat and boil water outdoors using simply sunlight. It can heat water in as little as 30 minutes and it'll work anywhere the sun shines. You can use it to boil water, to cook noodles and rice. You could use it to sterilize water for drinking. It's easy to clean. It can be used anywhere there's sunlight. And the best part is that if you click on the link below, you get 15% off. So what could be better? Do not wait. Click on that link below before they sell out and get your own Patriot Sun cooker today. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. Former President Bill Clinton is not only now officially implicated in the sordid web surrounding convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, but he appears to be more and more a major player in that web. The British Daily Mail has just published newly emerging bombshell photos of Clinton getting a back massage from one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims, Shanti Davies. Now, a huge kudos to the British media. Okay, when this story first broke several years back, it was not due to the reporting of our mainstream Marxist media. Our media, the American media, ignored it. It was the British press that reported on it, the British media and local media. This originally after the Florida Palm Beach County's Democratic prosecutor, Barry Krischer, refused to launch an investigation into Epstein's pedophilia after the police chief himself presented all the evidence. Instead, this Democratic county prosecutor charged Epstein with one count, get this, of soliciting prostitution. He actually labeled these children that were accusing him of raping them prostitutes because they admitted that Epstein paid them. So this Democrat charged Epstein with one count of soliciting prostitution and they gave him probation. He let him off. And so as a result, the police chief blew up and he turned to the Bush administration, who was in charge at the time, to seek justice against this obvious serial child rapist. And that is when the story about a major Democratic billionaire donor being protected by a Democratic county prosecutor started making news, but only in the British press as well as Florida local media. And to their credit, Fox News as well. They picked it up as well. But CNN, MSNBC, they didn't breathe a word about it. They didn't elicit so much as a peep about a Democratic prosecutor refusing to charge a billionaire Democratic donor on multiple counts of child rape. So the British press is coming through for us once again. Thank you. They've just published these new photos. Clinton can be seen sitting comfortably and laughing as Davies, who was then 22 years old, rubs her hands into his shoulders. Clinton is leaning back while Davies kneels on a chair behind him. And in a second picture, Clinton is smiling in relief. Apparently, they were on their way to Africa in 2002 on a humanitarian trip and were traveling together on the now infamous Lolita Express. That's Epstein's private jet. And they stopped in an airport in Portugal to refuel, and it's reported that that's when these pictures were taken. There are as well new pictures that have surfaced showing Clinton posing with Ghislaine Maxwell at the entrance of the Lolita Express, as well as Clinton playing cards on the private jet. Ghislaine Maxwell, of course, is Epstein's former girlfriend and confidant. and who's now in jail because she's the accused madam who helped arrange Epstein's sexual abuse of underage girls. Now, these latest revelations about Clinton's relationship with Epstein are on top of the previous ones that came out just a few weeks back. Fox News reported that a trove of sealed documents have been released to the public documenting that documents, by the way, that Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers didn't want anything to do with. They wanted them sealed, but nevertheless, they documented testimonies from one of the chief accusers of Jeffrey Epstein, a woman by the name of Virginia Roberts Giuffre. Now, you may know of Giuffre from her accusations against Prince Andrew. She's the one who blew the roof off the royal family with her accusations that she was sexually abused by Prince Andrew. She was interviewed for an hour-long special on the BBC. You may have seen that. She is a very, very credible witness. I have no doubt her testimony is in the process of bringing Prince Andrew down, at least as a royal public figure. So Virginia Giuffre is back in limelight, as it were, shedding light in the midst of the sordid darkness with the release of this testimony she gave back in 2011. And this testimony directly implicates former President Bill Clinton in the whole Jeffrey Epstein saga. Specifically, according to Giuffre's testimony, Bill Clinton was accused of visiting the infamous private island of Epstein's, the island that has been notoriously dubbed Orgy Island by many of Epstein's accusers because of the, shall we say, shenanigans that were going on there. And she claimed that Clinton visited the island with two young girls. So here it is directly from Fox News. I'm reading from the transcript here. Quote, at one point in the conversation, the subject turned to Epstein's powerful friends. Jack Scarola, one of Giuffre's lawyers, asked her if she had any recollection of Epstein telling her that Bill Clinton owed him favors. Yes, I do, she responded, according to the documents. It was a laugh, though. He would laugh it off. You know, I remember asking Jeffrey, what's Bill Clinton doing here, kind of thing. And he just laughed it off and said, well, he owes me a favor. He never told me what favors they were. I never knew. I didn't know if he was serious. It was just a joke. The lawyer asked her to clarify what she was referring to when she mentioned Clinton, and she said the former president was on the island. She said Maxwell was also there, as well as a person named Emmy and two young girls. And were all of you staying at Jeffrey's house on the island, including Bill Clinton? Scarola asked. That's correct, she responded. Wow. I mean, very, very damning testimony for sure. And frankly, it's causing many on the left to begin turning on Clinton right when he's making his first national appearance in months at the embarrassing cringe fest otherwise known as the National Democrat Convention. Check this one out. On CNN, of all places, they had a guest, Republican contributor Scott Jennings. While all the commentators like Van Jones and other far leftists were all shilling for the convention, saying, you know, they couldn't wait to hear what Bill Clinton had to say. It's been so long since they heard it. This guy Jennings was like, how is it that Bill Clinton hasn't been canceled yet by the Democrats? How has he survived all these waves of cancellations when he's been one of the biggest violators of these SJW rules in all these years? Now, the shills on CNN tried to gaslight Clinton and make excuses, but it's all too little too late. Clinton is radically damaged goods on the left. It's widely being acknowledged that Bill Clinton is one of the more unpopular personalities on the left. MSNBC's Chris Hayes has repudiated him. Actually, the New York Times, their liberal columnist Michelle Goldberg, has come out in support of Juanita Broaddrick, who claims that Clinton raped her several years back. Bill Maher has made no secret of his disgust with both Clintons, Hillary as well as Bill. And so we're seeing, even with this year's embarrassing convention, Clinton's role in the Democratic Party has been radically diminished. He was once considered the kingmaker in the party. Those days are completely over. He is really nothing more than a shell of what he used to be. Now, why is all of this important? Why do we care about Clinton and Epstein and the like? Well, you don't have to look very far to realize the long-term impact the Epstein saga is having in reshaping our world. And I'm not exaggerating in the least on that. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. I'm sure you all know Epstein owned a private island in the Caribbean. We talked about it, right? The eyewitness claimed there were numerous sexual relations with underage girls. And the scandal in all this is that Epstein hosted a number of guests on the island that constitute some of the who's who of the world's globalist elite. People like Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, and the like, many others. We now know, according to these recently released documents, we now know that Prince Andrew lobbied the U.S. government for a better plea deal for Epstein when he was first convicted for pedophilia, which he received. Democratic county prison officials in Florida placed Epstein in a private wing of a county jail and allowed him to spend 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, at his mansion throughout his entire sentence. So we're seeing how the political class, the elite class, live according to their own rules. They make the laws that we all have to live under while they live above those laws. And that, to me, is the long-term impact this Epstein fiasco is having in terms of reshaping our world. What's so significant is that it underscores the radical discrepancy between the ruling class and the ruled, the political class and the people, a discrepancy which is currently fueling a worldwide populist revolt like we have never seen. And we talked about this in a number of our other videos, but what we have to understand is that part of the political paradigm shift that we're seeing going on throughout the world today is a move away from the old partisan animosities. We're no longer seeing the world in terms of Democrat versus Republican, or conservative versus liberal, or even right versus left. Increasingly, more and more, the world's population is seeing the new political animosity as between the political class and the people, the rulers and the ruled. This is the massive populist wave that's quite literally sweeping the world, and in turn sweeping the corrupt and debauched political class out of power from more and more nations. And for good reason. Populists are deeply suspicious of our elite class, our political and corporate and media and university class, who are seen as ruling for their own benefit rather than for the benefit of those they claim to represent. And Epstein and those associated with him, presidents, prime ministers, princes, they're all fueling that divide. They're giving plausibility to the notion that the political class operates according to its own laws and often on the backs of the people. So populism cuts across the grain of both political parties and inevitably realigns politics around the new animosity between the people versus the political class, the ruled versus the rulers. And the whole Jeffrey Epstein saga further underscores this massive chasm between the people and our ruling class. It reveals just how depraved our ruling elite really are. They do not rule with any sense of common decency or civic virtue. They're power-hungry elitists and nothing more. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. And you'll definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on how the Democrats are suffering a total ratings disaster as their convention turns into a humiliating cringe fest. You are not going to want to miss this. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.